And there's more breaking news. We're getting you NewsX accessing the centre's affidavit in the Supreme Court on demonetisation. My colleague Mohammed Saleh will be joining us live from the newsroom with more details on what this affidavit in the Supreme Court really says. Remember, the government has been engaged legally as well on the issue of demonetisation. The fake currency notes have become useless is what the government's argument is, and funding of terror groups has stopped. This is something that the government has been saying while recounting the positives of the demonetisation move. The centre submitting that in an affidavit in the Supreme Court now. Remember, we've heard senior union ministers coming out and saying that this move has dealt a body blow to the terror funding machinery on the other side of the border, and this is something that they have now told the Supreme Court as well. The court also questioning why the government on the issue of preparedness, and we understand that the centre in the affidavit has told the Supreme Court that ATMs are being recalibrated to ensure that new currency can also be dispensed as soon as possible. Mohammed Saleh joining us live from the newsroom. Mohammed, what else has the government said in that affidavit that NewsX is now exclusively accessed?
Absolutely, Palki. Now, this is an affidavit which our channel has actually exclusively got. Now, what the government is saying is this. Now, there were 2 points of contention that were raised. And the first point of contention was, look, is it even legal to go ahead and demonetize about 86% of this currency in this manner? That was the first point of contention. Now, the second objection to this move by the government was, is the government even prepared to go ahead with this very drastic measure of demonetization? So these were the 2 questions that were raised, and this is what the government is now trying to answer. Firstly, the government has said, now look, because of this demonetization exercise that we've started, we have been able to deliver a body blow to all forms of terror funding. That is the first point which the government has said. Secondly, we've also been able to, at least for the time being, root out all illegal or rather counterfeit currency that is presently in circulation. And thirdly, the government says, look, it is our objective to move towards a digital economy, and this is what will actually root out black money as well. Now, black money is not a fund, it is a flow. So if an economy makes a transition towards a high level of digitization, that is how it will be easier for the subsequent governments to actually account for all the money there is in the system. So this is what the government is arguing. That is the first part of the argument. Secondly, the cases that are being filed, the PRLs that are being filed across the country are asking, was the government even prepared? What kind of preparations actually went before the government went on this massive demonetization move? Because on the 8th of November, when Prime Minister Modi just said, look, from midnight onwards, all 500 and 1,000 currency notes will no longer be legal tender, the Supreme Court has asked, look, were there adequate enough measures? Now, once you have declared that 500 and 1,000 rupee notes are no longer legal tender, were there sufficient 100 rupee notes to actually fill up the vacuum once these notes are declared as null and void? Now, the ATMs, were they calibrated enough? These are the questions which the Supreme Court has asked, and that is what the government has now sought to explain, Palki.
Right, Mohammed, thanks very much for that update. So this is what the government is arguing in the apex court when it comes to demonetization. Now